video. So I have my blanket here because I was showing people my progress during Knit and Listen. So I think I will knit while I talk to you about kind of reassessing my reading goals for the year of 2021. It happened again this year. I sealed the deal on the fact of, making these reading goals, by the fact that I made the reading goals that then I would no longer want to do them. And every year I think maybe I made the wrong goals. Maybe I'm going to bring the camera a little bit lower so maybe you can get to see the knitting better. I don't know if that's any better. I'll just try to hold my knitting up here. And I just keep thinking if I make the perfect reading goals, then I'll like it because I like having I feel like it could make you have a great reading year. Like I set out to do these things, I was more intentional, and I just don't. My fear is that I'll get to the end of a reading year and be like, what did I do with my reading year? But I also think that reading for leisure should be organic and you should get to follow your reading heart and do whatever you want to do. And so, as annoyed as I am at myself that now with my reading goals, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm also thinking that I should just be at peace with it. And this should be purely for fun. It should be for fun, and I should be okay with the fact that reading goals change sometimes, and sometimes you just have to toss out a plan. So the first reading goal that I had was my list of 5 mystery series I want to finish. This is something that I might still do, but just having, it's like, as soon as I film the video, having it written down, that's when it felt overwhelming. And it's so annoying because I love seeing people's reading goals. It's one of my favorite things. So I don't know what I'm going to do for the year 2022 because it's like the curse of the reading goal. As soon as I set it, then it's like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's my assigned homework. I can't do that. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I am setting out. I have read a few mysteries this year, but I haven't read quite as many as I'd like to. So hopefully, making this video now, checking in with myself on how my reading is going throughout the year. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't done this in prior years. And I have to tell you that not one, but 2 times, 2 different years, I have filmed the mid-year bookish freakout tag in the summertime, and I feel like my answers are boring. So I've just like scrapped the footage and not put it up. Like I feel like I'm going to bore people because they'll kind of know my answers. I don't know. I just feel like it's not interesting enough for people to see for me to put it up. But for some reason, this format, doing like a chatty, low key while I knit, feels different. I don't know why. Then the next reading goal I had was the Global Classics TBR. And I did great with Crime and Punishment, but it was really, really hard to read that. That was like one of the worst chronic illness months I've ever had because I was trying some new exercises that I was hoping, even though I felt terrible the entire month, I was hoping that I would just not feel quite as terrible if I kept up with those exercises. But all that to say, reading Crime and Punishment in the midst of that, it's not really a nice association with that book. And that's why it didn't end up on my favorites of 2021, like favorites of winter. That video came out a couple weeks ago. Did not end up on there because I just have that association now of like, it was such work to get through it. And then my stamina was even lower in February. What's weird is that I genuinely enjoyed the Odyssey whenever I picked it up. And I got over halfway, which I feel like is quite a feat with the Odyssey. And then eventually, like I have a few more like classics things going than I often realize. It's like I have the literary parlor that I'm the host of, and then I have my Patreon book club that I'm the host of, and then every other month Adam from Memento Mori and I and Kate from the novel Nomad have a different big classic that we read together. Or they're not necessarily always big classics, but we generally pick 19th century classics, and those are generally bigger books. And I forget that I was kind of panicking and being like, do I not like classics? But I think it's that I am reading classics regularly, and I just forget that that's, using up my my classics stamina, and I forget that I need to count that into my classics reading. It's not this separate reading. So I think kind of with big challenging classics, I'm really only up for the amount I'm doing for Literary Parlor and reading with Adam and Kate and reading for my Patreon book club. And once I realized that, I was like, okay, no, I'm still reading classics. But I definitely can't read as many as I did a couple years ago. Before, I was just reading so many classics every month, and it's just too much for me now. I think with chronic illness, or I don't even know, maybe it's just different stage that I'm in. And I we were reading too many books this year for Literary Parlor. We had big books, and then for February I had us reading The Scarlet Letter and Adam Bede, and it was too much. So it was nice because I emailed with Diane, who is the woman who is the director of the mansion and does sort of the logistics for Literary Parlor with me, posts things on the website, and I said, you know what? We have too many books on the go. We have like a big classic every single month. And since I'm doing other things, like other classics reading, it was just too much in addition. So I like that we just took out several books. So we'll be discussing Wives and Daughters in June. So we have Tenant of Wildfell Hall in April. And then we were going to do one in May. I can't even remember, or maybe we weren't going to do one in May. But then we're doing Clotel in July, which is a Black History classic. And then we were going to do one in August maybe, and they were just piling up. And we did so many this winter, so I was really pleased. So we're just going to have Wives and Daughters in May, or in June, and then Clotel in July. And then we're not doing one August or September. And then we'll link back up for Ghost Stories in October. And I don't know whether Ghost Stories will be virtual or in person. I am not sure. So lots of classic reading. So I don't know. I think the Global Classics Project is kind of at a standstill. If I could be assured that these books would feel like easy to read, that's also the problem is when I pick these book lists that are not really like my brand of books, I'm going to have more DNFs. When I try to read literary fiction, I'm going to have so many DNFs. You know, literary fiction that a lot of literary fiction readers like, I'm going to be way pickier. And so with global classics, like, I don't know. For some reason, I feel a lot more intimidated at the list. And then the other one that I had on my reading goals was the like chunky books I want to read. And the steam got, taken out, the momentum got taken away when I read The Eighth Life, or I started The Eighth Life, and a really friendly subscriber who has been subscribed to my channel for years, hi Emily Kate, if you are watching, wanted to buddy read The Eighth Life with me. And so I was really excited to buddy read with you, Emily Kate, because she has commented for years and always leaves such nice, thoughtful comments. But I started it, and there was so much trauma in this book. And it's one thing, I read Wild Swans by Young Chang, and that is like real trauma that happened to people. So then to me, it just seems like, why would I read about fictional trauma? And it was like ruining my week reading this book. And I'm like, what am I doing ruining my week by reading this? I'm a very sensitive person. Like some of these books that are really popular on BookTube, I'm just too sensitive to read them. And like, it just ruins my week, and it's all for a fictional book. What is the point of that? So I was very disappointed because I started out loving The Eighth Life and thinking it's going to be a favorite book of the year. It's going to be a new, a suitable boy. And it was not. It was just way more. It feels like one of those books that thinks in order for it to be meaningful, we have to have all these traumatic things in it. So I DNF'd it sadly, but Emily Kate and I are also planning on buddy reading The Brontes by Juliet Barker and Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco in later in the year. So we do have those other two. The other books on the Big Books TBR, I still really want to read The Brontes, like I just said, and the Letters of the Mitford Sisters But I also know I'm feeling extremely emotionally raw this year, and I can't even put my finger on it. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I just want gentle, warm, cozy books that are going to give me like a pat on the back and are like, it's going to be okay kind of thing. That's just what I want. I want like all the Huga reads. And it's so silly. Like I've gone through this like existential reading crisis, giving myself guilt over not following these reading goals. And at the end of the day, they're arbitrary. And if they enhance your reading life and they make them better, great. If they don't, forget them, toss them. Um, and let's see what else. And then I also am doing this to kind of check in with the reading workbook that I did that was made by Kaylee from Books from MKs. And what I loved about that is that she has it basically, what do you want to get out of your reading life and how are you going to accomplish it? And so my mission statement at the end of making that workbook, which I put that up in, I can't remember if it was the end of December or the beginning of January, but I put that up and said, I will read what I want to when I want to. And so I am like, you know what? I'm reading classics for Literary Parlor with Adam and Kate and with my patrons. And so I'm just going to relax and chill out with the other reading. And so I have been discovering that I love sweet romance, which is a subgenre of romance that is non-steamy romance, and especially the historical settings. So I, read a Julie Klassen romance. It's a Christian romance, but it did not feel saccharine. It was so good, and I can't believe I wrote off an entire genre without really trying it. And then I'm so excited to continue on with Kira Dominguez's books. I read Her Caprice. I've logged that, and those are the books that are really building me up that I'm loving. So I'm going to keep seeking out books like that. And then I want this sort of brand of memoir that is someone maybe in a different setting than you're from, and uh, getting to hear about their experiences. And so it just kind of fell into my lap. I read The Ordinary Princess, which is a Cinderella retelling by MMK. And I was just seeing if the library had other books by her. Like, what else has she written? And it popped up. She has a 3-volume autobiography series. And the first is called The Sun in the Morning. And she grew up in India and loved it so much and was devastated. Eventually, they had to move back to England, but then she goes back to India. And so I posted on Instagram asking if anyone was interested in this summer. I just feel like it being set in India, I just associate it like I read A Suitable Boy over the summer, so I want to do that again. So if you are interested in reading the first volume of MMK's autobiography, it is called The Sun in the Morning, then let me know, because we're going to get together a group, maybe do some Zoom discussions. So I'm really excited about the rest of the reading year because I've kind of grieved over not loving my reading goals. And now I'm moving on and I'm just reading whatever the heck I want. And I'm already excited because I'm planning on doing a TBR game for the summer. I have tons of like middle grade fairy tale retellings, romances, some nonfiction that I'm very excited about, and some classics on there. And so I have very, specific kinds of classics that I want to be reading. 6, 8, 9. Don't want to lose my count on this. So I'm very excited, and also just hosting things that make me happy. So the Zoom discussion for Miracles on Maple Hill was one of like the most fun I've had in a long time. Making small talk with people really tires me out, but talking about books energizes me. So that was really fun, and I want to do more of those. So I'm hoping to be able to do that with a couple things coming up and some this summer. And so yeah, I think I've kind of come around and been like, I'm okay. This is the reading year that I need. I'm listening to my reading intuition, and I'm feeling very okay with it. And happy that we have kind of lighter requirements for the end of the year with Literary Parlor. And I'm also very much enjoying the books that I am reading aloud to Peter. But one kind of big obstacle I've had this year with reading aloud is my voice is been getting so sore. My throat gets so sore after reading aloud. Like it's hurting a lot right now after reading aloud for just like 20 minutes. And I've been filming for a while now, so my throat is really hurting. So I remembered hearing on the Read Aloud Revival podcast about maybe taking voice lessons. And I've started taking voice lessons, and she's given me exercises where I kind of like sing through a straw. It feels very silly to do it, but I'm following those exercises. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I'm really, it's very interesting because I've started doing the exercises in the morning right before I read aloud to Peter. And I noticed that my voice is kind of in a deeper register than it is when I'm filming right now. And just on its own after doing those exercises. So I'm hoping if I keep up with those exercises, it will teach. I think how the music teacher made it sound was like your body will learn to use different muscles. And I'm kind of using the wrong muscles and straining my throat then. So I'm hoping the voice lessons help because it's really annoying that it's just like 20 minutes of reading aloud and my throat is in so much pain. So I'm taking the recommendation of the Read Aloud Revival podcast and doing those voice lessons. So yeah, I want to keep hosting tons of events. I have so much fun doing that. And I'm going to keep doing that, hosting read-alongs throughout the year. And also I want to, this year, definitely host one in September because August and September, ever since I hosted Victober now, are just terrible reading months because I'm so focused on Victober. And obviously I spend a lot of time filming and planning out my videos, but I still have some free time in there. And then I'm kind of like, what do I do with my time? I don't know. Like I can't focus on any reading. And I want to really try to fix that this year, not just have 2 whole months lost. Obviously it's okay if I choose not to read, but it's then I don't know what to do with myself and the free time that I have that I'm not filming or planning videos. So I'm hoping I have a couple books in mind. Hopefully that will fix those problems that I'm having. So yes, this is just kind of me ruminating. I'm wanting very comforting and consoling reads, and I am okay with that. And I'm excited to make my TBR game for the summer. Obviously, I know this is only April and I'm talking about summer, TBR, but I really love to plan. And also, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have uploaded the most frequently, consistently that I've ever uploaded on my channel. And that is all down to getting a planner this year. And I realized before that I am an extremely type A person. And so when I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants and filming whenever and uploading whenever, it stressed me out. And so I know some people would think like it's very rigid, to plan and strategize like this, but it calms me. It makes me feel like I'm kind of on top of things, and I love to plan. Half the fun to me of BookTube is planning things and being excited for things and being anticipatory about things. So I'm having a lot of fun. So yes, if you have any video requests, let me know because I'm loving branching out and doing different kinds of things. And it's just brings me a lot of joy putting up BookTube videos and thinking about the kind of creative projects that I can do. The one kind of thing that makes me sad that it's harder for me to do are more baking and book videos. That takes up just too much energy. I couldn't put up as many videos if I did that. And I like putting up a lot of videos because it takes, when you are filming, cooking and other things, it takes twice as long. It takes you twice as long. And I just don't have the energy for that. So I'm content doing the kinds of videos that I am doing, and I hope that you are enjoying them as well. And chat with me in the comments. How is your reading year going? Are things different than you thought they would be? Are you in a more moody reading mood like I am? And I look forward to chatting with you all in the comments. And thank you if you do leave comments regularly. Thank you. It's really a fun thing for me to see people engaging. And I challenge you, if you're watching this and if you have never left a comment, leave a comment this time. Tell me some of your favorite books that you think I would like. Tell me how your reading year is going. And I will be back for another video soon. Bye.